All right, shalom, shalom. I'm back. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I finished off on the first paragraph under this other story. So I guess I'll start at the top there and we'll go. It says, this dynamic reflects a broader picture of global politics, in which the Middle East has become a focal point for numerous external actors, all of them seeking not only to bolster their own positions, but also to impose their values and models of development on the region. However, despite the growing ambitions of various states, the Middle East remains a volatile epicenter of contradictions where the interests of global and regional powers collide. In this context, every decision in the Middle East carries not only local but global significance. And again, what's going to bring what's going to happen is superpowers globally is going to find themselves fighting in the Middle East. As we brought out in part one, Russia will be a guard. I mean, I read it. I believe it. I read it in the was it the Easy English or an NLT, but I could also read it in the KJV. This is the book of Ezekiel 38. In verse 3, and say, thus saith the Lord, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, Russia. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. The Most High is going to turn Russia back into the USSR mindset, where the earth was afraid, thinking that World War III was going to come back then. Right? But it's coming now. Because World War III is brewing. However, it's not completely here, and it won't be completely here until the MOTB, all right, written of in Revelation 13 and 16, is pushed throughout the four corners of the earth. Remember, the reason for, remember, as I mentioned, the aftermath of World War III is those ICBM nuclear missiles, right? You can read down Revelation in 9th chapter, speaking on the third woe, all right? And then it speaks on, and from the third woe, it speaks on how you have horses, and out of their mouth issued fire. That's talking about the nuclear missiles. But it's good to note that the reason, there's many reasons that those missiles are going to be shut off. But also, when you read in Revelation 14 and 9, right? So Revelation 13 and 9 is how this man is going to push the MOTB. Revelation 14 and 9 is the judgment for those who have taken it, which again is fire and brimstone issued by those ICBMs. So bringing it all home, World War III will not be pushed. It will not pop off, right? You have little skirmishes here, little skirmishes there. I seen something else. They were talking about how pretty much Trump and Putin is supposed to do talks, and there will be some type of event that maybe is going to pretty much start some shit between the two nations. We'll have to, speculation at this point because it hasn't happened, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, back in the precept in Ezekiel 38, it says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. So Persia, Iran, Ethiopia, is Egypt. Was it? I'm sorry. Well, we know what Ethiopia. That's Africa and Libya. I believe that's the Sudanese. It pretty much spells it out in that Ezekiel 38, the easy English. Right, Persia, Kush, Sudan, and Put, Libya will be there with their metal hats and their shields. All of them shield and helmet. All right. All of them shield and helmet. And that reminds me of Joel. Chapter 3. Verse 9. Beat your plowshare. Verse 9. I was reading 10. Said verse 9. Verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. So again, when you have a mighty nation like Russia backing you, then you're going to pretty much, poke your chest out a little bit. You're going to grow some hair in your chest. Beat your plowshares and the swords, and your pruning hooks and the spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Right? And according to Ezekiel 38, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, at the point of them, or there's going to come a time to where they're going to worry more about, Iran, you already know how they carry it as far as the nuclear missiles go. But other countries that's joining themselves with Russia, they're going to also begin to arm themselves and focus more on military strength more than agricultural strength. And you know what? That also leads to famines and, uproars of the people, because war is expensive. It's an expensive thing. Who suffers? The people. Right? So on all levels, the Lord is bringing prophecy after prophecy before our eyes. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands. The house of Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Right? So as we see, however, despite the growing ambitions of various states, the Middle East remains a volatile epicenter of contradictions where the interests of global and regional powers collide. Okay? And it's going to be a big collision. As we just read, Russia is going to hold down the Middle Eastern nations. You got Iran. You mentioned Iran, but don't think, Saudi Arabia ain't going, be up in there. Yemen, all these different Middle Eastern countries allied with Iran. And then according to America's rule, it says in Jeremiah 49:20 that the least of the flock shall draw them out. And we know no matter who's the president, they will always back Israel. No matter what Israel does, America will always back them. The world knows it. So it says, where the interests of global and regional powers collide, in this context, every step, every decision in the Middle East carries not only local, but global significance. And that's a fact. And no matter how it might seem that the region has already endured all its hardships and reached a new level of stability, the reality is that the Middle East remains at the heart of global transformations. This land, which has experienced wars, revolutions, and crises, continually demonstrates that the global order is fluid, and the region's history is a constant process of transformation, where every event, even seemingly insignificant at first glance, can lead to new and destructive consequences. And again, that's the Lord. The Lord mustered the host, right? The Lord is a man of war. The Lord's determination is to gather the heathen, to destroy them. They're not going to be there on some peaceful, we all are one nation type shit. Nah, that's not the Lord's plan. There is no peace to the wicked. And all of these people had a hand in our captivity. And this will come to fruition. Joel chapter 3 verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. So you could say forget about slavery, but that's the reason why the Lord is going to bring this bitch down. All right? For slavery. Hell, this devil wants to keep us as slaves. That MOTB, which is the RFID chip. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down unto the valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of Yehoshaphat, or the valley of decision. Is when you look it up, it says Kidron, I believe. Let's see. The valley of Jehoshaphat is known as the Kidron Valley, which is pretty much around the Jerusalem area. Right? So that's where this shit is going to pop off at. And then you have other scriptures like Joel 2 and 20. I will drive the land of the north into a land barren and desolate. All right? So when you add that together, which the most barren and desolate place in that region, the region of Israel, is the Arabian desert. Right? I had looked it up. Right? So the valley of Jehoshaphat is the valley of Kidron. And then again, I backtrack to Joel 2 and 20, where it says, I will drive far off from thee the northern army, and will drive them into a land barren and desolate. Let's just grab it. But I will remove far off from you the northern army. The northern army is synonymous with Babylon. All right? Let's grab that. Well, for sake of time, because I don't want to lose you brothers and few sisters. All right? But as you see, the northern army is Babylon. You could read Zechariah 2 and 6 to 7. And will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the uttermost sea.